Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the instant match reaction. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. Not the greatest start of the season for us. Andre Gomez went off injured before half-time and Morgan Schneiderlin was sent off with 10 minutes to go. So not the greatest start for our midfield with Fabian Delph already injured. It's going to be very interesting next weekend. Started the game very much like we thought we would with the team. Schneiderlin in instead of obviously Garner with there being no Delph. And I thought early on we started the game very, very comfortably. A couple of early chances. Gylfi Sigurdsson should have done a lot better. And there was a couple of balls into the box that we should have done a lot better with. And as the game went on, it felt very much like last year's game and a lot of last season's away games, where that lack of cutting edge or the lack of taking chances in games where you may not get a lot of chances was our real Achilles heel, sadly. If we want to finish top 6, we're going to have to win games like that today. The only thing I would say is, first game of the season, as I mentioned, Delph's out injured. Moise Keane's had a week training. Gbaman's had a week's training. We're trying to change. We haven't got a Wobie in. We're trying to change things around. We haven't had time to change things around because of how late we brought a lot of the players in. So disappointing going forward. I thought the front four were really, really poor. I thought Richarlison, with obviously only a week's training in himself, or 2 weeks, training with him, only one pre-season game under his belt, looked rusty. Bernard and Sigurdsson both looked rusty, and they've got no excuse really. So, if anyone's going to point any fingers, it should be at Bernard and Gylfi Sigurdsson, who were really poor today. Dom, not aggressive enough for me. If he really wants to be a true Everton number 9, he's got to start putting some aggression into his game, because he's just not aggressive enough. He doesn't go for enough balls in the air and anticipate where they're going to go. But he's just got to get that aggressiveness in his game. I think that's something the whole team needs to do. We knock it around really nicely, but when we need to step it up, we don't seem to do that. But today, first game of the season, it's not always easy. You're not going to be fully fit first game of the season. I appreciate that. Players are at different levels as well, and we've seen that when Gbaman came on. I thought with Andre Gomez in the middle of the park, he wasn't massively effective, but you seen what he did when he went off the pitch. We just couldn't get hold of the ball then. Snyder had already got himself booked for a really petulant incident. Yes, it probably wasn't as dramatic as the player made out. I think it was Ayew. But once you show dissent to the referee, especially on first day of the season, they're just not going to take it. When he gets himself booked, then he's on a tightrope. He gets sent off. It's a stupid sending off because he's slow to the ball to a challenge he shouldn't be going in for. It's in the middle of the pitch. It's not going to do anything. And you're left with then Gbaman, who looked completely off the pace and lacking in sharpness, struggling in midfield, put alongside Davis, and luckily enough they held it together, the two lads. But we did look rusty. Some of our better players look rusty. What I would say is, though, Michael Keane and Yerry Mina looked excellent at the back, and Jordan Pickford made a couple of really big saves. So them three looked really good. Seamus Coleman for a lot of the game looked good going forward, but then kept on getting caught the other way. Dean looked really rusty as well. I don't know whether that's down to the pre-season. I haven't really said too much about the pre-season, but I didn't think it was intense enough. I didn't. But then again, did we have the players? This is the problem when we talk about a squad. Did we have the players to? Every time we brought players on, they were always kids or squad players that we don't want. There was just a lack of numbers in pre-season, and maybe that stopped them from players playing real good solid hours. And I don't know, but the likes of Sigurdsson and Bernard didn't have good pre-seasons, and it showed today as far as I was concerned. But listen, it's first game of the season. The most annoying thing is Palace are garbage. They really are. They're just poor. Zaha came on and we all thought he was going to score. He didn't. He didn't look that arsed, if I'm honest. But the game was there to be won, but we just couldn't grab it. No one on the pitch could grab it by the scruff of the neck, and that's the most disappointing thing. So we got a point, same as last season, same situation as last season. We got a chance to see Gbaman and Moise Keane. Both of them look lacking in that match sharpness, but that'll come. Another week of training now, and we'll have to look at the situation in midfield, whether whether Delph will be available, whether what Gomez's situation is. It's dead mad, isn't it? I love this when you see people saying when we're trying to buy people, oh well, what's the point? Who are they going to play instead of? Well, within the space of one game, we lose a player through suspension, lose a player through injury, and we've got another midfielder injured, and the other midfielder looks very raw. So when people ask that question, is Tom Davies going to get a chance? Well, Tom Davies is probably going to start next week. That's football for you. That's how quickly it can change in the Premier League. So it's not an ideal start to the season, but going down to 10 men, we held it together, and we still tried to win the game at 10 men as well. I would say that. We had a couple of good chances. Richarlison had a really good chance second half where he curled it wide. Gylfi had one flicked off the line. On another day, they go in. I think the big problem for Everton is getting that first goal, especially in away games. If we get the first goal in that game today, we win that game comfortably for me. But we didn't. And that's the big problem, and that's the issue the manager's got to solve. He's got to get more out of the centre forward, whether it be Moise Keane or Dom. He's got to get more. Gylfi's got to be on the ball more, and if he's not, then Iwobi's got to come in with that pace. And we've got to find the solutions to the problems that we had last season. But they weren't all going to be solved today. Let's get that right. They weren't all going to be solved today. It's a point. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's a point, and that's how we start the season. We've got to improve. We knew that anyway, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to check out my player ratings video as well, and Baz's videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.